part 2, or we could even call it the promo section of the show, because that's basically what this was. Next we had Shawn Michaels holding a funeral for The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. Now, it was originally billed that The Undertaker would hold a funeral for Shawn Michaels' Mr. WrestleMania moniker, basically his reputation at WrestleMania. But Shawn Michaels, of course, has the upper hand in this entire feud, and so he has reversed it. So now it's a funeral for The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, the streak of which The Undertaker doesn't like to speak. Basically, this is okay. Basically, Shawn Michaels says that he's not afraid of The Undertaker. Why would you be? You've dominated the entire feud. You should be a bit afraid of The Undertaker, but the feud's been played out in such a way that there is no reason for you to be afraid, because you are constantly winning these battles. Then he goes over all the things he's done. Super kicking The Undertaker, doing that weird little graveyard scene where you walk past all the graves of The Undertaker's WrestleMania opponents, and then with that gravestone that said 16-1. And then the thing he did last on SmackDown, I'm not sure exactly, talking about the light and the darkness, etc., etc. He goes through all that, and then he says there's been no retribution, and they do a good bit, because everyone pretty much assumes The Undertaker is in the casket behind him. So Shawn Michaels, because he seems ahead of the game in this entire feud, he knows that The Undertaker is probably in the casket, so he looks, and The Undertaker's not there. And Shawn Michaels says that at WrestleMania, people are going to be talking about this, they're going to be talking about that, they're going to be talking about Orton, Triple H, they're going to be talking about Cena, Big Show, Edge, they're going to be talking about Money in the Bank, etc., etc. But the one crowning achievement, the thing that will be remembered in 25 years' time, say, as the WrestleMania moment, will be Shawn Michaels pinning The Undertaker. The Undertaker's furious, of course, and it goes black, and The Undertaker appears in the ring, and Shawn Michaels is out of the ring. By this point, we don't know where he is. Well, we kind of do, but we don't. And The Undertaker starts wrecking the stage. He goes to leave the ring, and then notices the casket and figures Shawn Michaels is probably in there, which I figured. He opens up, Shawn Michaels isn't in there, so he turns around, Shawn Michaels comes out from underneath the casket, waits for The Undertaker to turn around, and super kicks him. Again. I feel like if the feud's going to play this way, that means only The Undertaker can win the match. The Undertaker's definitely going to win the match, because the feud is so one-sided. If The Undertaker, if it had been a sort of topsy-turvy, Shawn Michaels did something, then The Undertaker does something, like Randy Orton, Triple H say, then I could see Shawn Michaels winning the match. But as it is, The Undertaker wins, as far as I'm concerned. But there you go. Then we had Money in the Bank 8-man Battle Royal. Finally, we get to see an every man for themselves thing, which is good. Slightly worried about all this. These guys have yet to put on a really good match on one of these shows. Now, hopefully, and I can't imagine the Money in the Bank will be bad. Hopefully, it's going to be spectacular, but we'll see. Good news in this one were that it was a fairly average Battle Royal. Just people punching, kicking each other, then the endings. Then people getting thrown out. So Finlay and Mark Henry went out the first two, which is good news, because no one wants either of them to win, right? Then MVP and Shelton both got eliminated by Kane. Once again, Kane looked like the strongest thing in this Battle Royal. Really worrying. I can't decide whether it's a good thing to win these Battle Royals just before WrestleMania, if it's like Augusta, the Masters, where you don't want to win the par 3 course just before the main event, as it were. I'm not sure if that's the case, or if it's good to win these things. If it's good, then Kane is definitely going to win the Money in the Bank. I don't think he is. Punk eliminates Kingston. It's every man for himself, don't you know? And then Christian thinks he's eliminated Punk. Punk does the high knee into the corner, goes for the Bulldog. Christian throws him out. Once again, I'd say Christian was the best thing in this match, but I'm biased, but he was. He tries to throw him out, Punk holds on. Kane gorilla presses Christian, throws him into Punk. This was the best bit of the match, this ending. And they both go out. Kane wins. Worrying. I don't think he's going to win Money in the Bank, though, to be honest. But they are building him up as really credible. Which I guess they're building up the Big Show, and I don't think he's going to win the main event either. So, yeah. It was okay. Kane climbs the ladder, takes down the briefcase. Don't know why they keep doing this. It doesn't count. Someone tell him it doesn't count. Then we had Randy Orton promo, and apparently, I know I didn't say, because I didn't remember, DiBiase and Rhodes had said that Randy Orton was going to say something which would change the landscape of wrestling forever, or something like that. Some bollocks, basically. Right, what we actually get, because basically they've given Randy Orton about 20 minutes here to do this segment, and what we actually get is Orton giving us a little history lesson. 5 years ago, we were in Evolution together. Then Triple H turned on me, etc., etc. Then he's been plotting his revenge apparently for 5 years, and he had to wait till the following criteria were match. Triple H was stronger than he'd ever been. Randy Orton had his own little group of people, and Triple H had something that he valued more than the world title, i.e. his wife. Yeah. He also claims that he knew exactly what he was doing here, that he does, there's no such thing, well, there is such a thing as IED, but he doesn't have it. He had us fooled all along, because as you see, you can't spell cowardice without I-E-D. There you go. That was the wrong way around, but whatever. Yeah, so he talks about how he's always wanted to get revenge on Triple H, and now he's finally found a way to do it by dismantling the McMahon family. Then he shows pictures of them taking them apart. I thought it was interesting how he showed himself beating Triple H at the Royal Rumble, but evidently even in his own video package he didn't cut out the bits where Triple H beat up all three of Legacy. Yeah. Anyway, then he finally gets to the earth-shattering news, which is when Randy Orton becomes champion, then the landscape of the WWE will change, and people will have to face him for the title, and young wrestlers will want to work as his protege, that's not earth-shattering news. That's the most obvious thing imaginable. Yeah. Anyway, the fact was, this was all orchestrated so we could get the return of the McMahons, which I don't give a shit about, to be honest, but they showed up, they came up in a limo, and we didn't see them, and then Vince McMahon's music played. Vince McMahon comes out doing his strut swagger thing, and singing his own theme tune, and he looks a lot like a sort of dad getting ready to dance at a wedding, because he was singing his own theme tune, and he was pulling up his shirt sleeves, and I was just like, yeah, he didn't look like much of a wrestler. Then Shane O'Mac comes in. Randy Orton looks terrified already, and I'm like, it's Vince and Shane, come on. And then finally Triple H comes out. Randy Orton's security get beaten up, and then DiBiase, Rhodes, and Randy Orton all take a bit of the beating. I'm glad it wasn't a total one-way beating. Like, Vince McMahon didn't just kick the shit out of Ted DiBiase, which, even though I hate Ted DiBiase and think he's talentless, would be the most ridiculous thing ever, because Vince McMahon's like 60 years old. But yeah, they had a bit of a fight. I've noticed Randy Orton is being used basically to explain all the WWE's bad writing. Like, when he had to explain why he let Shane McMahon beat him up a few weeks ago, he had to do some more of that. He had to explain why Triple H was getting the better over him, even though he was a psychological heel in this feud. Apparently he was lulling Triple H into a false sense of security in order that it hurt even more when he hits Stephanie with the DDT. Now, Orton's good at explaining all these things away, but why don't you just write it better to begin with, you know? Anyway, yeah, that was pretty much it.